Verbalonlife.
Last night was the DNC convention where Kamala Harris finally got a chance to speak to the people, and they had Little John bring her out. Definitely, they're going to be winning this November. Shout out to the Democratic Party. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the reactions from Jesse Waters and what he thinks about this whole situation. My name is Noel. Welcome to Verbal on Life. Let's take a look. Thank you for joining me. And this should be fun. Oh, yeah, remember to give this video a like before you go anywhere. All right, let's take a look.
And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I've enjoyed Chicago. Not as much as Harold Ford, but it's been nice. Tonight, Kamala Harris takes the stage. This is the biggest speech of her life, and she is freaking out. Yesterday, Kamala locked herself in a hotel room and studied all night. The last Democrat who overprepared this much ended up dropping out. Kamala's aides told the DNC, "You better not be running behind schedule." And Kamala warned them not to cut her tribute video like they did with Biden. Now we know why her staff always quits. Kamala's people say this week has been a crescendo building to her. So we expect an emotional entree with a side of substance. Very small side. Team Harris says they're going to stay vague. Quote, "This is a rallying cry, not a policy speech." If this sounds familiar, it is. The slogan's about hope and change. We're going forward, not back. The focus on decency. It's all plagiarized from the Obamas. Yes, we can turned into yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
If you want to know what Kamala is going to say tonight, just watch Obama's DNC acceptance speech.
I will restore our moral standing so that America is once again that last best hope for all who are called to the cause of freedom, who long for lives of peace, and who yearn.
I'm still waiting for the hope and change that Obama said he was going to bring in. That never happened. Let's see if that's what Kamala is going to bring. Hope and change.
For a better future. And the greatest risk we can take is to try the same old politics with the same old players and expect a different result.
Morality, hope, freedom, peace, future. She's going to recycle the same buzzwords, but it's just more empty calories. Kamala may snatch the Obama's essence, but she doesn't have the backstory to support it. Obama came fresh off 8 years of Bush, the Iraq War, the financial crisis. Getting a young black Democrat president was massive change. But Kamala is already in the White House. The country's lost hope because of her policies. The country wants a change because of her policies. The only change she's offering is what she looks like. And that's how they're hoping to fool you. Now, Barack Obama was already a star after his soaring DNC speech in 2004. He took that momentum and faced off against the Clinton machine in the primary, and then he buried him. Obama was battle tested, and he earned it. Kamala didn't earn it, and she doesn't have the muscle tone or a single scar. She's Joe Biden's yes woman. All Democrats did was trade a one-eyed horse for a blind one, and you don't hitch a ride with a blind pilot.
You have to trust the pilot of the plane in the first place. And the problem right now is that Donald Trump is not a trustworthy pilot. And what these guys are winning, they're winning the babysitter contest. Who do you want? Whose values do you want to be in charge of the plane before we get where we're going? And I think you're getting smoked on that.
I have to tell you,
please.
The current pilot of the plane is Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is not the pilot of the plane.
No,
he's right here.
She's the vice president. She's a co-pilot.
If the pilot dozes off and the plane starts nosediving, it's the co-pilot's job to stop the crash. Kamala didn't stop the crash. She pointed the plane straight at the mountain and then told the passengers, the pilot's awake. He's as sharp as ever.
It's like we gotta let the deep state continue to govern the country. Why does it feel like Trump is a grown man running and telling people what to do? Yeah, he doesn't speak right. All right, he's a bit abrasive. A lot of people don't like how he talks, but gotta say, man, he gets things done. It's crazy. But let's keep listening how we need the deep states to keep running things with a new puppet, Kamala Harris. But that's what I think. Let's keep listening.
She's responsible for crashing the border and the bank. Hope isn't going to distract from that. We need to change administrations and move forward. Right, Oprah?
Let us choose the sweet promise of tomorrow over the bitter return to yesterday. We won't go back. We won't be set back, pushed back, bullied back, kicked back. We're not going back. And together, let's all choose Kamala
Harris. 2/3 of the country say we're going in the wrong direction. Why would we stick with the co-pilot who's been flying the plane the wrong way? It's time to change pilots. Oprah, Stevie Wonder, Spike Lee, the Obamas, the Clintons. We already did that.
A lot of celebrities just going with the Democratic Party. It felt so old in 90s. You know, Little John, are you serious? That celebrity is just too old.
Why go back to 2008? This country has too many problems. We don't have time for a reunion tour. You can't just tape Kamala's face on a Hope poster and call her the pantsuit messiah. The California machine spit her into the Senate. She failed up in the Democratic primary into the VP office, where donors just anointed her after a coup. Now her presidential campaign's being thrown together at the last second and held in place with rubber bands and super glue. She inherited Biden's war chest, didn't earn it, and the Obamas seeded her campaign with speechwriters and loyalists. Biden world hates Obama world, and Kamala's caught in the crossfire. The convention's already over, and she's only been here once. Johnny talked to more Democrats than she did. Tonight, she has to read a speech she didn't write and deliver it with genuine emotion. Kamala hasn't delivered during big moments. She spoke at the 2012 and 2020 DNC. Nobody remembers what she said. But speeches won't win this election. Even Gutfeld can read off a prompter. The debates will clinch it. Trump turns debates into memes and memories. Harris debated Pence in 2020. The only thing people remember is the fly. Kamala won't have Obama or Oprah on stage with her. They won't be on the ballot with her either. She's on her own now. It's Trump Vance against Harris Walls. Who do you trust to fly this plane? Former director of speechwriting for President Obama and co-host of Pod Save America, John Favreau. As a speechwriter, how impressed are you with my co-pilot analogy?
It was a little hard to follow. How did I get here?
I don't know.
What am I doing here?
Do you know you're on Fox right now?
No, I don't know. I was just sitting around in our studio and suddenly I ended up here.
I think we muscled you up here against your will, but now you're here, you have to answer some of our questions.
Go for it.
Do you really think that you can just do this hope and change thing on Kamala? You think people are going to buy that?
I think people are pretty excited about Kamala Harris. This is like the most excited convention I've seen. I've been to conventions since 2004.
Were you at the RNC in Milwaukee? That was pretty hot.
I was at the RNC in Milwaukee. Little cocky. A little cocky there.
Well, that's because we didn't really know who we were running against.
Yeah, you guys had it wrapped up.
Yeah, we thought we were running against Biden.
You were figuring out, how big the electoral landslide was going to be.
Yeah,
everyone's getting a little nervous.
Yeah, no one's nervous. Everybody knows it's going to be close.
Trump seems a little nervous.
I don't think you know anything about Trump. Do you really think that you can just take Kamala and just make her the hope and change candidate? You can just do this with any candidate? Because she was very unpopular like a month ago.
I think if you look at the polls now, she's pretty popular. And I think that it's a pretty close race. I think she's maybe ahead by a point or two, but I think this is always going to be a close race. And, she's going to have an opportunity tonight to talk to the country, to lay out her vision, to talk about why we don't want to go back to Trump. And we don't want to go back to the 10 years of Donald Trump in our lives, just whining and complaining about everything all the time.
Well, he's complaining because you guys are throwing him in prison. I'd complain too. No one wants to go to prison. So Favreau, let me ask you a serious question. Is she going to do the Fox debate, Kamala Harris?
She's going to do the debate they agreed to on ABC.
But why is she afraid of coming on Fox? Your guy, Obama, he went on Fox a lot.
Well, they're going to do the ABC debate. They're going to do I think the NBC debate.
Is that confirmed?
They said that in a debate. They said that in a statement that they were going to do the NBC debate.
Sorry,
yeah.
so we have these debates locked in.
More debates, the better. At least 2. Come on now.
What is she running on?
What is she running on? She's running on a plan to bring down costs, a plan to make sure that we have the fundamental right to choose in this country, protected for everyone.
How is she going to bring down costs, and why isn't she doing it now?
She's going to build 3 million homes, incentives to build new homes, and
what about the
first-time
cost?
home buyers.
That's the number one issue.
$25,000 credit for first-time home buyers is pretty good. She's going to do a child tax credit, so that up to $6,000 for families.
Okay, so she's spending a lot of money. That's what got
A lot of free money. Free money, free money. Vote for me, you get free money. Little bit of money, but it's free.
us into this place.
You know who wants a child tax credit? JD Vance,
Right,
your
but-
friend JD
right,
Vance.
but
He likes it too. It's a good idea.
Yeah, but he's not into the $25,000 check to go buy a house. Come
It's
on.
an incentive.
That's not how you bought your house.
It's
you
an
had to work
incentive
for it.
It's an incentive. That's a lot of first-time home buyers are working their asses off.
All right,
and they can't buy a
get
house.
ahead. They can't get to buy a house in the Biden-Harris administration. But seriously, how is she going to do this? Your guy ran on, I'm going to get out of Iraq. I want health care reform. Those were concrete issues.
Yeah.
What is she saying?
A third of women in this country right now are living under a Trump abortion ban. And I think if Kamala Harris wins and we get a Democratic Senate and Democratic House, she's going to sign into law a guarantee that every single woman in America will have a guaranteed right to choose. I think that's a pretty big deal.
Okay, so it's going to be an abortion. I get that. That's going to be big. I definitely understand that.
Yeah. I also think that for economically, Trump gets elected, he's going to do another tax cut that goes mostly to rich people, to billionaires like Donald Trump.
Okay.
And she doesn't want to do that. They don't.
I know you guys.
You don't need another tax cut. I don't need another tax cut.
I definitely
Why do we need
a
tax cuts?
I definitely need a tax cut.
Come on.
Hey, it's my money. I earned it.
You look good.
I earned
You
it.
don't need
Not
another
as
tax
good
cut.
as you. Not as good as you. How different is Kamala from Biden?
How different is Kamala from Biden? I mean,
Yeah, but you're saying because you're laughing because she's a woman and she's an African American woman.
and she's younger.
Okay,
and
but
she's
besides all that,
from a different place. Well, she's put out plans last week. She talked about plans to go after corporate price gouging.
didn't Biden do that?
Biden, no, not the plan that she proposed, that she's going to have the FTC go after corporate price gouging. She's also going to have this home buyer's tax credit. She's also going to build these new homes. She's also going to extend the child tax credit. She's going to do a lot of stuff.
So she's to the left of Joe Biden.
No, there's a lot of stuff that Joe Biden wanted to do, but he couldn't do because the Republican Congress was blocking it. He would have passed the child tax credit. There was a vote.
Well, why didn't he do that when he had the House and the Senate?
There was a vote just a couple of weeks ago to extend the child tax credit, something that JD Vance and most Republicans want to do. They didn't want to do it because they thought it would help Joe Biden, and now they think it's going to help Kamala Harris.
Were you happy with Kamala not competing for this? Did you want a more competitive primary?
Well, no one else challenged her. It was an open process, and then within 48 hours, all the potential challengers said
It was a 48-hour process.
What a sales pitch, and it worked for a lot of people. Just keeping the narrative simple.
Yeah, they all decided not to run.
Okay, so you're happy with Kamala Harris?
Oh, very happy.
So, because Obama said he liked Kamala because she was the best-looking attorney general. Is that why he likes her?
10 years ago, he did say, or 20 years ago now, yeah, he said that she was good looking. Yeah, he did say that. But he's pretty proud of her. And he was, what he said in his speech Monday night? When the homeowner crisis happened and there was a homeowner settlement, she, out of all the AGs in the country, she pushed the Obama administration harder than anyone else, even though he's a Democrat, even though she was knocking on doors for him in Iowa, to make sure that homeowners who were defrauded by big banks got their money from that settlement, because she's really tough as an agent.
We like to push Obama in many different ways.
I know you do.
Do you think Kamala's a moderate or is she a progressive?
She's a mainstream Democrat.
Because before you said a couple years ago that it was laughable that people were calling her moderate.
I said that?
Yeah, you said it right here. I have it right here. Flashback. Former Obama speechwriter. Hilarious. Some media outlets calling Harris a moderate.
She's
Right there.
she's progressive, right? She's like a Democrat. She's not like center of the spectrum. Like I said, she's a mainstream Democrat.
So mainstream Democrats.
Those are progressive Democrats.
Far left.
Yeah, not far left. What do you think is far left?
Well, I
do you think giving tax cuts
is far left?
Tax cuts to the middle class is far left? Do you think
I love tax cuts.
Secure borders and a pathway to citizenship
This is not a secure border.
Do you think that giving every woman a right to choose is far left?
No, I think she's far left when you look at her record on.
I may be wrong, but I think that was Obama's speechwriter. So the guy knows how to put together narratives to trick people or trick a larger audience. Hey, but that's just my take. He talks a lot.
police,
far left.
on police, on drugs.
What's her record on police? You think
She's
funding
for bail
the police?
reforms.
You think funding the
She
police?
bailed out rioters. One of them got out and raped and murdered somebody. I think that's far left. We agree to disagree. John Favreau, my mother loves you. Thanks for coming on.
Tell your mom I said hi. Tell her to
Against
listen
your
to Pod
will.
Save America.
I will. Pod
Okay.
Save America, John
Perfect.
Favreau. I think that's French.
It is.
Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump, joins me now. All right, Eric, so now you're running against Kamala Harris. They're going to hide her for the rest of the campaign. What is the plan?
Well, Jesse, it's been 27 days. She won't get out there. She won't do an interview. And frankly, if I were her, I probably wouldn't do an interview either, right? I mean, she's been a disaster in terms of the economy. She's been a disaster on the border czar. She was supposed to take on AI, and she was incapable of doing that. You know, as border czar, she's let in 13 million people into this country, and now she's promising that every single one of them is going to have free health care. We're 30th in the world in terms of educating our children. Our schools are failing, yet every illegal immigrant that comes across an invisible line is going to get free health care. Jesse, it doesn't make any sense. Then she comes out and promises, on day one, I'm going to tackle high prices, yet she's going out and saying that she wants to add an extra 30% to taxes for every individual and every business in this country. Let me ask you a question. I mean, I'm a business guy, but how do you reduce costs if you're going to add 30% in terms of taxes to all those businesses? Not to mention the war on natural gas, the war on gasoline, utilities are double the cost, food's double the cost it's ever been. You can't have a mortgage in this country anymore because they're 7% and 8%, where under my father, they were 2.5%, right? I mean, inflation is eating everybody alive. You have stagnation of wages. People are suffering in this country, but yet on day one, even though she works about 7 feet away from Joe Biden, you know, her office is about 10 feet away from the Oval Office. You know, on her day one, she's going to take on prices. Give me a break. No one believes it, Jesse. No one believes it.
Do you believe that the Obamas are going to be able to pull this off? You know, they're going to just sprinkle her with the hope and change. All the speechwriters are writing her speeches. She's going to be coddled. She's going to be on Time Magazine, every single issue. That's a heavy lift. Obama had talent. He didn't need that much help.
Yeah.
He was coming off 2 terms of Bush, and he got swept in there through the financial crisis. Kamala Harris is not a talented politician. They are trying everything possible here. How close is this going to be?
Listen, Jesse, it's the greatest rebranding of somebody I've ever seen. I mean, the media was laughing at her a month ago. They were literally telling her, I mean, in all the biggest publication, Kamala, it's your duty to step aside, you know, let the next generations, you know, come in, let the next generation of politicians. It's amazing. Joe Biden gets forced out, and 24 hours later, she has 4,000 delegates lined up. Tell me that whole thing wasn't pre-planned and she wasn't working that behind the scenes. But Jesse, I mean, it's actually really disgusting to see the mainstream media. I mean, people in this country, there's not a single person watching the show right now that's not hurting. As I said before, wages haven't gone up in this country, and people are getting crushed under the prices of absolutely everything. You go to the grocery store, you can feel it, right? I mean, people are seeing people die in this country, 300,000 kids to fentanyl, because these people, I mean, they'll put up 3 walls around the DNC in Chicago, but they won't do a damn thing about our southern border, which is letting drugs across in rapid numbers.
Eric, they didn't even mention fentanyl. I've been here for 4 days. I don't even believe I've heard the word fentanyl the entire time.
Of course not. You know, and you probably don't, and you've never heard the fact that she chairs the National Space Commission, and yet Boeing can't get one of their rockets out of, you know, I mean, it's literally docked at the International Space Station with 2 astronauts stuck up there, and you're going to have Elon Musk go rescue them. I mean, what has this administration done? You have wars breaking out all over.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to go rescue those people in the airspace problem. Elon Musk, please help.
The world. Russia and Ukraine, we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars so young kids can shoot each other in point-blank ranges in trenches on the Russia-Ukraine border. The Middle East has become a hornet's nest. We're not focused on our economy. We've spent more time wondering whether or not guys my height should be able to swim in women's sports. I mean, Jesse, people are laughing at us around the world. They're laughing at us, and it's so sad. We have the greatest country.
I'm laughing at us.
We've got the greatest country in the world. We've got unlimited potential, and we're being run by a bunch of clowns. And I'm telling you, the country's going to reward Donald Trump. He was the best president this country's ever had, and he's going to win on November 5th because people feel it in their soul. People know that this country's going in the wrong direction.
Well,
And we need a change. All right, we got to get rid of doing the same thing over and over again, just failing over and over again, and just change things up. See what happens.
I mean, if this country has common sense, that'll be the outcome. Eric Trump, thank you so much. Good to see you.
All right, let me take a small break right here and respond to some of the comments that people wrote. Here we go. It says, Noel, he is trying, but he can't because Jesse knows she is winning. Kamala is winning, right? But we still got what, like 2 months before November? Right now we're in August, September, October. So 2 months and a couple of days. And she got to keep the momentum going. I think after the debate, let's see if she could keep up the momentum. That'll be amazing. That'll be great. What does it matter if you feel your guy will win? Who runs? Yeah, it doesn't matter. So actually, I hope she does run because then definitely she is running out, and that's it. So therefore, she's going to lose. I mean, the United States with a female president. If you're a man, a straight man, a normal man, you gotta vote for Trump. The man just dodged the bullet for this country. Come on now. You're gonna have a woman president. You're gonna have mom running the country. Get out of here. What else? The truth hurts, Noel. Yeah, the truth does hurt. That's why a lot of people don't want to admit it. That are you really going to have your moms or women running the country into the ground? And that we got to be fair to her, not talk about her, not talk about her policy, because she doesn't even put out her policy. We have no clue what are Kamala policies. None. But yet, all she does is bring out Little John and bring out celebrities. That's all she got. So you could say that these are all lies on inflation. Lies on inflation, my man, you know how expensive gasoline is or a trip to anywhere? The electrical bill, everything is up. We are living in some hard time. Here it says people are spending more than they did back then. Inflation, let's sell cereal for $24.99. They sound, what? They sound nervous. But look, at the end of the day, Kamala Harris just wants to win by bringing on celebrities and other people to talk for her because she doesn't know how to talk. I think she memorizes the script. She goes out there and put it out there. And if it works, it works. But if you ask her a question past the script that she memorized, she's not going to remember. She doesn't know how to talk. She won't know what to say. She's going to be looking at the audience confused and probably put out a word salad. And people believe the nonsense. But you know what? We need some strong men like Trump, a rich millionaire man who doesn't need more money. Not millionaire, he's a billionaire who doesn't need more money so he could run the country. That's what I'm talking about. Trump 2024, baby. Let's go.
Good to be on, my friend. Thanks.
Now, Johnny gets friendly with Democrats at the DNC. That's right back. Fox News Alert, the final night of the DNC has begun. Let's go down to senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy on the floor. Peter.
And Jesse, of course, the headliner tonight will be Vice President Harris. But there is so much talk about who else the Hollywood Democratic types might be having come to help. Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. Do you guys know which celebrities are coming tonight?
Yeah, but we're gonna have we don't know. The chicks are gonna be performing.
The chicks.
And Pink.
Pink!
Pink is gonna be performing.
Is Beyonce coming? Yeah. Beyonce's coming?
Serious convention. No conversation about policy, nothing serious. We're talking about celebrities. These young people are just there to see celebrities. Are you kidding me? This is insane.
This is about issues. This is about issues. This is about America.
Are you going to go backstage and tell them to tell the celebrities not to come out, or should I?
That's you. You should tell them that.
I'll go back. So you guys don't?
You know, the RNC just had what? The Hulk Hogan, that's it. But the Democrats got all these celebrities. That's crazy.
I want Beyonce to come out.
Come on. No, don't do this.
No. Okay. Apologies. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll keep it going. So there is some debate about the effectiveness of celebrities down here with the Ohio delegation, Jesse.
You got scolded. That was fun to watch, I guess.
What we're here for.
A lot of people enjoyed seeing that. Peter Doocy, not the first time, not the last. This race is either a Trump landslide or a toss-up. Nobody knows. But if Kamala is going to be competitive, she needs a lot more white dudes. The New York Times says white
identity politics works, always separating people by their color. This is talking about white dudes or white men. They love to separate people by their race, by their color, men or women. Like, are you serious? Can we just talk about people?
white dudes, it's her most telling area of weakness. White guys over the age of 65 have shifted 6 points towards Trump. That's why Kamala's bringing in Colt Waltz to give white guys a little pep talk.
Yep.
So let me finish with this, team. It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball.
And they're going to lose.
We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team.
They think football metaphors are going to win white dudes. They don't know anything. They think Tiananmen Tim and Dougie Fresh represent real manliness, unburdened by testosterone.
And Walls being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan.
We need more testosterone men. We need brave men who are not afraid to fight.
In addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. What's really
all those men that support a woman, we're talking about these men that talk all feminine. And it's like, what the hell is happening? Who are these men?
Been fascinating is to watch the men of the Democratic Party model a kind of masculinity that is simply 21st century
non-existent masculinity. It's like you gotta obey and listen to what the female gotta say. Get the hell out of here.
masculinity.
Democrats are pandering to low testosterone men with football, camo hats, and country music. I don't think that's going to work.
No.
Co-host of The Five, Harold Ford Jr., and anchor of the story, Martha McCallum, who knows a thing or two about men.
about testosterone.
Women like manly
Which
men.
to be good. Exactly.
Well,
Women
what are
like
we
manly
hearing
men.
here? What are we hearing?
What I'm seeing, and it's also older voters that are staying with Trump and that are difficult for Kamala to peel off. And what I see is voters who care about things. When you're a little bit older, you care about things like the border, about nuclear war, about national security, about real stuff. So they might be short on that. There's been a lot of emotion here, a lot of feelings that matter, a lot of discussion that you might expect to hear at like circle time.
Yeah, a lot of people just care more about their feelings being hurt by Donald Trump's speech than what really is going to happening out there.
In school in grade school. But I think that, with these older voters, they're not going to be peeled off by that kind of stuff because they're very concerned with what's happening in the country. And they're going to be the tougher mountain to move here. But some of these mountains have moved. Women, TikTok, younger voters, people who spend time on all of those have gone. There's been a big swing, like a 7-point swing in the swing states since this happened from May to August, since Kamala Harris entered the scene. So these changes are real in what's going on, but that group is not moving for now.
Harold, how embarrassed are you as a Democrat that you guys are now pandering to low testosterone men?
Look, this convention has been
low testosterone men and women are the only ones that should be voting for Kamala Harris. But otherwise, it's Trump 2024.
Has been good for Democrats. Republicans, you guys, I believe, and I said it on air, you had as good a convention as I've ever been to. I've been to 14 conventions over my life, Democrat and Republican. I was out today at lunch, and I got to tell you, this has been a great week for me. Reconnecting and renewing old friendships as we all get to do every 4 years. I met the chair of the Lehigh Democrats in Pennsylvania, and she said, we didn't think 6 weeks ago this is what we would be doing. But the switch happened, and we're ready to campaign. We're looking for the issues. We're looking for the specificity. And hopefully the vice president gives us a little bit of that tonight. She's going to focus on her bio, though. Her disposition will be important, Jesse, because of some of the invective being hurled at her, trying to paint her as being outside of the mainstream, being not for everyday Americans. So tonight, like I said at the Republican convention, the pre-act was great, but everybody wanted to see the Stones, and that was Donald Trump. Right. Tonight, everybody wants to hear from Kamala Harris.
Right,
We'll
and
see how
Beyonce.
well it
If that report
It's
is
for
true,
Beyonce.
and you notice how Harold ignored the question about testosterone. He just plowed
He's very
through, never even
comfortable. He's
talked
very
about the
comfortable in his
topic
own
we were
skin.
supposed to talk about.
Was that the question?
That was the question, Harold. How embarrassed are you? Your party's a bunch of low T guys. I want to play some of Gavin Newsom. He was just on with Brett Baer. Listen to this. He got pressed on how vague Kamala is. Listen.
If you were running for president, wouldn't you say what you were for specifically? And if it differed dramatically from where you were just a few years ago, you would explain to people why you changed.
And she's been our nominee for how many minutes?
30 days.
Okay.
But I mean, how about an interview? One interview.
How about getting through the convention? How about having the former roll call event with the 482 votes that we put her over the top from the state of California? How about a little grace under the circumstances of this remarkable moment in U.S. history?
Kamala just needs a little grace. Just give her some grace.
Give her some grace. You know, you do get grace. Like if you're late for your reservation for dinner, they give you about 10 minutes. So she's had 30 days.
30-day grace period.
And it is high time for her to sit down and do a real interview. I don't know why she would be, afraid. She's been vice president for 3.5 years, a senator, attorney general of California. She's got a ton of experience. She knows her mind. She knows where she stands on things. She's got to deal with a lot of difficult video.
It's nice that she keeps failing up. Every time something goes down, she gets a better and better job, all the way up to vice president and maybe even president. That's crazy.
She is tacking to the middle, and she's going to have to explain how she got from A to B. And that's where I think you get those older voters and maybe some white male voters who are not so easily persuaded by feeling and emotion and joy. You feeling joyful?
Those sticky older white male voters, Harold.
I know a bunch of them.
Well,
I know too many.
I'll answer this question. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Specificity is going to have to come. I thought Brett and that interview was a good one. It went back and forth. It was like Gavin returned the serve and then Brett returned it back. So it was a good interview. And I think people should want those kind of tough ones. 2, she serves at the pleasure of the president as of the last 3.5, almost 4 years. This is the coming out party right here. This is the beginning of a long test over the next 70 or so, 74, 75 days. How she performs tonight, I think, is critical. And then after tomorrow, she's got to begin to talk about specifics and substance.
Is the deep state going to be able to control her and tell her what to do, and she's going to obey? That's the big test. Is she going to follow along the line?
And the American people are going to judge her and determine, is she overly ambitious for some of the changes she's made, or is it authentic that circumstances and facts change? It made her change as well.
Well, we don't want to call a woman ambitious. I was told never to do that.
Ambition, I mean, political ambition.
Political ambition. Sure. Why isn't he speaking right now? Why is Gavin Newsom talking to Brett Baer?
Well, it's very
He have a
interesting.
slot?
I mean, you remember him with his coat slung over his shoulder, walking in and out of the White House, and he was very, he picked his lane. He's like, I'm sticking with Joe Biden no matter what. They know each other well. They're both.
All right, when will Kamala do an interview? As we can see, probably never. She will be doing a debate. That's about it. Hold on. All right, check out this next video by Maria Bartiromo, Fox Business.
Verbalonlife. Welcome back. Vice President Kamala Harris set to formally accept the Democrat presidential nomination tonight without sitting for an interview or holding a press conference to discuss her agenda. It's been more than a month since President Biden dropped out of the race, and Kamala Harris's campaign website still has no mention of any policy plans.
None.
Minnesota Governor, Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, did not detail Harris's agenda during his DNC speech last night, but he did attack former President Trump. Watch.
When I was teaching, every year, we'd elect a student body president. And you know what? Those teenagers could teach Donald Trump a hell of a lot about what a leader is. I haven't given a lot of big speeches like this, but I have given a lot of pep talks. So let me finish with this, team. It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball.
She picked the worst candidate as a VP.
We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team.
Joining me now is Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise. He is the House Majority Leader. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Give us your reaction to that pep talk.
Yeah, Maria, it's great to be with you. I think they're getting ready to fumble the ball if they've got it right now because the questions are going to start coming. Pretty soon the honeymoon ends, you leave Chicago, and you have to actually run a campaign and talk about real issues and be confronted with the false realities. I mean, look, Kamala tonight, I have no doubt, is going to lay out every grievance that every middle-class family has and say, I'm going to fix it all. The problem is she created a lot of those problems, Maria. She cast a deciding vote in many cases to create the inflation. She cast a deciding vote to double the size of the IRS. Let's not forget that when she's talking about now being against taxes on tips. It was Kamala Harris who doubled the size of the IRS, and those agents are now going after tip workers. So when you're paying more in tips today as a tip worker, thank Kamala Harris, she raised your taxes. Is she really going to be the one to fix them? She has no desire to fix the border. They want free health care. You never heard Tim Walz last night talking about their plan. And by the way, it's a very clear plan. They've talked about it before. They want free health care for illegals. They've fought for better health care for our veterans. Tim voted against the VA Mission Act when he was in Congress. Go look up the Mission Act. It was a great bill to help our military veterans who retire to get better health care. Walz voted against that, but he wants free health care for illegals. All of these things are going to come back to bite them real soon in this fourth quarter because the facts start coming back, and you have to be confronted with your plan versus what President Trump's plan is going to be. And everybody knows what President Trump did. He had a vibrant economy. He created jobs. He had low energy costs. Let's remember, less than $2 a gallon gasoline. Through real policy, we had a secure border. There was peace around the world. We don't have any of that today, and they're the ones in charge.
Well, look, you say that things are going to turn after the convention and that the questions will start to be asked, but it's very tight time because this early voting starts in early September. So what about that? I mean, it's only a couple of weeks. Then you've got election day that's going to come at us fast. What is the Trump campaign and the Republicans? What are you all doing to ensure
stop illegal immigrants from voting?
Or a fair election, to ensure that, in fact, people understand the agenda of the opponent, the Harris.
Look, President Trump
agenda.
put a lot of focus. Right, President Trump put a lot of focus when he hired Mike Whatley and brought in Laura Trump to run the RNC to focus on the swing states. You're not going to see a lot of it in New York. I'm not going to see a lot of this in Louisiana, but in states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, in Wisconsin, Georgia, voter integrity is going to be front and center in ensuring the integrity of the vote. But you've got to go back to a lot of these swing states, getting that contrast shown. It's the fourth quarter. It's time to people like a month ago, people didn't even know Kamala Harris was the candidate for president of the United States. Now it's time that they see the difference between Kamala Harris, and she's got a record. Let's not forget, she was in the Senate. She was vice president. She broke a lot of these ties to pass bad legislation, not to save the world like they try to portray in these made-for-TV kind of conventions. So once we get back into the throes of the election next week, you're right, there's not a lot of time, less than 70 days when we get to next week. It's all systems go. Everybody's got to be focused, especially if you're in a swing state. You've got to be talking to your friends and neighbors about the facts, not, hey, Kamala's going to help you if you've got a problem. What did Kamala do the last 3.5 years? And how is your life today compared to 3.5 years ago since Kamala's been in power? I bet the answer is not really good.
Well, a Department of Homeland Security watchdog finds the Biden-Harris administration lost track of more than 30,000 migrant children. As of this May, 291,000 unaccompanied migrant children have not been designated for removal. But Democrats are trying to blame Republicans for the border crisis. Here's New York Congressman Tom Suozzi discussing the failed Senate border deal at the DNC last night. Watch this.
The border is broken. But this year, when Democrats and Republicans worked together to finally write new border laws, we were blocked. We all know who sabotaged us. We reject the divisiveness.
They're going to blame Trump for that. Get out of here.
We reject the dysfunction.
Well, I mean, look, that border deal would allow 5,000 illegals to come into the country every day. And that was one of the issues that stopped that from going forward. President Biden's former Border Patrol chief, Rodney Scott, joined me yesterday, and he slammed that deal. Watch this.
I'll even talk about that Senate bill that everybody lies about and says it was such a great bipartisan bill. It did not touch child trafficking. It left the unaccompanied minor loopholes wide open.
So what about that, Congressman? I mean, why did James Lankford, who is a Republican, push that? Was that a whole setup? Get something on the books so that they could use that against the Republicans?
I'm not sure. Look, we focused on our own bill, H.R. 2, and the House actually did pass a bill. I know people like Swazi want to forget that because he's against those kind of border security policies. We brought a lot of border security measures that him and others have voted against because they don't want to secure the border. There were Democrats that were against the Senate bill, and ultimately the Democrat-run Senate didn't even pass their own bill. So this idea that there's this great Senate bill out there, Maria, the bill never passed the Senate. You know, ultimately, you got to figure out how to pass a bill. We did.
Well,
it's called H.R. 2. It would secure the border. And Kamala Harris is against that bill.
Why would they want?
And that bill will work if Trump's in office.
Why would they want the border open?
Well, because they want to have millions more people come into this country illegally. They've said it. Kamala flat out said it should be legal for people to come here illegally. Like, we should legalize that process of people coming into America. Why she said it, I don't know.
The destruction of America, little by little, letting a whole another culture come in here and take over. We live in the crazy times, man.
You can ask her. You can't ask her because she won't do interviews, Maria. Yeah. I understand why they won't let her do interviews, but she has said it herself. She wants open borders. I don't. Most Americans don't, by the way, and that's where she's going to have problems. When she and Waltz go into middle America and say, hey, you know, border security, yeah, we've already got it. It's a secure border, remember? They're going to go, no, it's not. I'm seeing 150 young people die every single day from drug overdoses of fentanyl. Yeah. I'm seeing these people coming into my communities. They're given free cell phones, free hotel rooms, wrecking the city of New York. And where's the help? Yeah. You know, Trump is the only person with a plan to secure the border.
Yeah, and I don't think it's overdoses. I think it's poisoning, flat out poisoning by fentanyl. Congressman, it's good to see you.
And you know, this country is so big that there's a lot of people who don't see it, who are not affected by the illegal immigrants. Those are probably the only ones who are voting for the Democratic Party because they don't see it, they're not affected by it. But those in sanctuary cities, those are the ones that should be saying, hold on, this is way too much, way too many illegal immigrants. They're committing crime, they're breaking the law. We got to do something about this. But those are just my thought. Coming up, I don't think Kamala's going to win, given everything that's happening. Trump 2024, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Before you go anywhere, make sure you hit that like so we could spread the word and let people know what's up. One more thing I was going to say. You know what? I'm blanking out right now. But thank you for joining me. My name is Noel, battling MS, here at Verbal on Life, trying to be verbal and put out the news out there. Let you guys know what's going on, what I think, what you think, and spread the word. With that said, see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Verbal or life.
I was going to mention something about the illegal migrants, but towards the end there, watching Maria Bartiromo, I just blanked out. I hear the dogs barking, so let me get out of here. Let me see how this video looks.